Dear stressed up viewers, welcome. Last class, hire purchase. Before class, we have done with lease financing, and today we are going to deal with factoring services, the last part but the foremost part of non-conventional sources of finance, by which we will be completing one part of BEFA, that is business. B. Now still economics, financial accounting is left that we are going to deal with from next classes. Now let's see the definition, like we repeat it in every class. The new concept starts with its definition. So the factoring services is defined by International Institute for Unification of Private Law of Rome has given us a definition. Let us see what are they saying. So, factoring is defined as an arrangement between a factor and his client, includes at least two parts of the following services to be provided by the factor, that is finance, maintenance of accounts, collection of debts, and also against protection against credit risk. Clear? I'll repeat it again. Factoring is defined as an arrangement between a factor and his client, includes at least two of the following services to be provided by the factor. What are the services? That is finance, maintenance of accounts, collection of debts, and protection against credit risk. Now we are going to see the types by which we are going to understand what are the factoring services exactly. Okay, we have seen the definition. Now we are going to see the types of factoring. Don't get confused or worried like difficult terms and all. It is really easy. I'll explain it to you in the very simple way like I have done from my earlier classes. Okay. Now types of factoring services. There are 5 types in which we are going to talk about 2 different categories, like how we spoke about lease financing types in that earlier sessions. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 types of factoring services, that is rescue and non-rescue factoring, advance and maturity factoring. The maturity factoring is also called as collection factoring, and for full factoring, and disclosed and non-disclosed factoring, and the last one is domestic, international or cross-border factoring. Seeing this, you will have an idea, like few terms you have already seen in last steps and all. So here, firstly, rescue and non-rescue factoring. There are 2 types. Like when we saw the types of financial lease and etc., we have seen 2 different aspects in each category. Like financial lease and operating lease, both are different from each other. But these are types. Now in the same way, rescue and non-rescue. In rescue factoring, this kind of arrangement, it is, as we told, it is an arrangement between the factor and the client, and every contract or agreement or arrangement includes 3 parties in the case of factoring services, that is factor, client and customer. In rescue factoring, the factor has the right to rescue the firm and the recoverables, and if any debt receivables are there, and if there is any loss, that will be borne by the client but not by the factor. Clear? And that duty of the factor is just to collect the debts and to collect the payments in advance if they are not paying till the maturity period. But in case of non-rescue factoring, it is different. Like as we seen, it is vice versa. In rescue factoring, they have the right, but here they don't have the right to rescue the firm, and the loss occurred in the debt, receivables or irrecoverable will be bared by the factor itself, and in order to bear that particular risk, he is going to charge a very high commission for premium of risk bearing. That is called as del creditor commission. What is called as del creditor commission? All these kinds of terms you can find in consignment accounting, where we prepare different accounts like consignment, consignor, consignee. There is a contract or a firm in which the supplier will make the note of all the requirements, all the goods, its names and the cost and the risk bearing charges and the invoices, interest and whatever the extra charges are there. So in that kind of concepts you find this kind of terms. What is the charge, that commission, it is called del creditor commission. So that is rescue and non-rescue factoring. Then coming to advance and maturity factoring. Advance is like we pay something in advance and then we make the full payment at the future date. Yes. So here also, whenever you are taking some goods, the factor will actually take they will make some prepayment before they take the goods, and the final payment will be done at the guaranteed period. Okay. To the factor, the client will make the guaranteed payment in the future, but a prepayment in the first. And then in maturity factoring, it goes different. There is no advance. Completely the amount, whatever it is there, will be paid at the final guaranteed date. That is also called as a maturity period. Like your phone balances, whatever the balance, you will get a message, right? Your account is going to expire by this date, so please renewal or put other extra balance, and all the balance amount will be cleared at one date, so you have to pay in that case. But here we have to clear our balances. To clear that balance, that is called like we paid on the maturity periods, or advances like we paid prepayment first and then we completely clear our balance on the maturity period. And then full factoring. In this full factoring, it is also called as old line factoring. What is called it as? Old line factoring, in which it integrates all the types of factoring services. Like it looks as the same. Like you know what are the factoring services? What are the services that is rendered by the factor? Finance, maintenance of accounts, collection of debts and protection against credit risk, all the things the factor does. So it integrates all the types of factoring, that is what called as full factoring. Okay, it involves all the services. In definition we saw that factoring arrangement should involve at least two types of services out of this. But here it is like it completely involves all the services given by a factor. Okay, then it is called disclosed and non-disclosed factoring, the fourth one. Disclosed in the sense we show or we display all the information, and not disclosed or non-disclosed, it's like we don't display any or disclose any information. Here that information should be disclosed in the case of factor. So whenever a supplier or the manufacturer of goods send an invoice note to the buyer by sending those goods, along with those goods he sends an invoice note in which he writes the factor's name, so that the buyer has to make the payment to the factor. Okay, the factor's name will be included in that invoice note. And in further, if that factor is not going to be paid by the buyer, or the buyer will not make any payment to the factor, then that risk is going to be borne by the supplier but not by the factor. Okay, anyhow in non-recourse we have seen that it will be not paid, like it is you know what is a non-rescue factoring? It is not the responsibility of the firm, and they don't have the right to rescue the firm in the same way. And non-disclosed, in that case, non-disclosed kind of factoring, what happens? It is completely vice versa. Like here they disclose the information of factor's name and all, but here it undergoes and lies and completely in the supplier's name itself. The accounts, the ledger balances, whatever they make, it is in the name of suppliers, but the control lies with the factor itself, not with anyone else. That is called disclosed and non-disclosed factoring. And the last but not the least, that is called domestic or international cross-border factoring. We have already seen this kind of domestic or international in that lease financing types, right? Like if a lease is undertaken between two parties of the same place, then it is called domestic, and if it is between the different parties of different countries, then it is called international. In the same way, even here, we have domestic and international factoring So that is also called as cross border. Here it involves, usually we told factoring services involves three parties, but here it involves four parties. That is importer and exporter, and the import factor and export factor. Clear with all these kind of types. Firstly, rescue and non-rescue factoring, advance and maturity factoring. This maturity factoring is also called as collection factoring, full factoring, which is also called as old line factoring, and disclosed and non-disclosed factoring, and then domestic and international cross-border factoring. So these are the types of factoring services. Now in the next class, I am going to explain you what are the advantages and disadvantages by which we are going to complete the business part in this BEFA, and we are moving into economics. Thank you. If you like my session, like, share and comment and be the part of Shrestha. Thank you.